The reason I'm here is to talk about the theology of violence, what God says about violence. We are Christians, and the normal message that we receive is that Christians are to turn the other cheek to the ad nauseum. And so my background is National Guard, a couple of deployments, and that is why Andrew asked me here today to kind of just shed some light from my perspective on this. And again, this is just to kind of wake us up, get us thinking about these things. There's a lot to it. The Bible has a lot to say about it, but that's what we're here to find out. So I have a short video. It's about 4 minutes long. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but it's just kind of some background as to what I used to do. Can you play that, sir? I can't play it. Yeah, I think you can. Fair enough.
You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Tell them that God's gonna cut you down. Tell them that God's gonna cut you down. Tell them that God's gonna cut you down.
There you go.
Down the flight. Is 6, 5.
Come up a little bit. Oh, yeah, good one. Go ahead, D-Was.
Got her.
Nice shot.
Watch them flee. Watch them flee. Watch them flee. Hip-hop heads. You do it like this. It's going down. 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 The rhythm projects round. The next sound reflects a complex hybrid dialect now. Detect the mesh of many elements compressed down. The melting pot of a super futuresque style. The combination of a vocal caress with lungs that gasp for breath from emotional stress with special effects. In a distorted collage, carefully lies between beats of a rhythmic barrage. It's going down. The logical progression on the timeline. The separation narrowed down to a fine line. To blur the edges so they blend together properly. Take you on an audible odyssey. Now it's going down. A logical progression on the timeline. The separation narrowed down to a fine line. To blur the edges so they blend together properly. Take you on an audible odyssey. Now it's going down. Put it out for the world to see. LP and X-Men through the 10th degree. Going down. Nobody in the world is safe when we melt down the wax in your wreck degree. Going down. Put it out for the world to see. LP and X-Men through the 10th degree. Going down. Nobody in the world is safe when we melt down the wax in your wreck degree. Going down. Put it on. It goes like this. You do it like this. Once again, it is composed sentences all together.
Okay, so that, all I wanted to show you guys was the Apache. And the Apache helicopter, the only mission that this thing has is violence. All violence. It is designed to take out anti-personnel. There's anti-personnel, anti-light-skinned vehicles, and anti-tanks. Its namesake is Tank Buster. The idea is that it fires a Hellfire missile from the platform at the most vulnerable spot of a tank, which is where the turret meets the chassis. And the idea is to blow the turret off of a tank and kill everybody inside. And so, as a Christian, is that okay? Is it okay to kill other people in this way? Is it okay to own, as a nation or as an individual, something that can do this level of violence? Does the Bible have to say about it? So there was a conversation that I had with a dear Christian lady in Israel. We went there for a wedding. My sister married my brother-in-law, Shaq, and I had a talk with the lady out there who figured out that I was going to be deploying shortly after this Israeli trip. And she point blank said to me, "How can you be a Christian and be in a war and kill other people? God says, 'Thou shalt not kill.' He also says, 'Turn the other cheek.' He says, 'Love your neighbor as yourself.' How do you square that? How is that possible? Is that okay?" And so that's the question we're going to go through. And you think about these things. How do you explain from the Word? I mean, you can say, well, if someone attacks my wife, I'm going to, is that okay? Why is that okay, and why is it not according to Scripture? What does God say about it? Think Kenosha. So the whole debacle with Kyle Rittenhouse. You still have Christians that are on both sides of the fence on that issue. Was he right and was he wrong? The gun, the shooting, the death of these evil, wicked men who were trying to kill him. Think the Crusades. We were talking about today the book. Whoever got that book, lucky you. The Defenders of the West, wonderful book. That is Duke Godfrey of Bouillon. Duke Godfrey of Bouillon was known to be able to take his sword and cleave a Goliath type of a dude in half with his armor on from a position on the ground with the Saracen, the Goliath Muslim guy, hanging out on his horse. Cut him into two pieces. One half falls into a ditch. The other half rides on the horse back into the castle, where all the people inside the castle led up the unearthly howl of fright and fear because this was their champion, which ended up leading to just the decay of morale and the eventual taking of the city of Antioch. That's where that happened. That's what that is depicting. Although Godfrey had a sword, not a club. So what are the prevailing thoughts in modernity, church modernity right now, about violence? Does your pastor talk about it? Does anybody talk about it? The answer typically is no. How is violence in your everyday? Like how are you equipped mentally, theologically to handle violence? Killing another man, hurting another man. Why would you? When should you not? These kinds of things. So what does God have to say about it? And thanks, Andrew, you stole my thunder earlier. But basically, you have the verse where Jesus is saying to his disciple Peter, put your sword away. Do I not have legions of angels? Basically, what Jesus is saying is, I could crush him. I'll put my legions of angels against your sword. That's not the issue. The sword is not the issue. The sword is the timing. This is not the time. I have to die. If it wasn't my time, I'd just crush him. That's what Jesus is saying, right? So, back to the idea of modernity. Church modernity. What is the church saying right now? You roll that, sir?
Through research, and I saw it in the...
This is what the church says.
They were all
American
speared
church.
to death. And they had guns. This came out
Pause it.
through research, and I saw it in the...
Okay, sorry. A little background on this. This is the story about the five, the missionaries. Ed McCullough, Roger Udarian, Peter Fleming, Nate Saint, and Jim Elliott. And these guys, they had guns, and they didn't use them on the attacking Waodani. They got speared to death. So, but I want you guys to listen to it and think about it. Thanks.
They were all speared to death. And they had guns. This came out through research, and I saw it in the documentary, and they shot them in the air as the spears were going through their chests. They could have saved their lives just like that. Just shoot like this. And they didn't. The reason they shot in the air is that they said earlier, they had made this comment, that we're ready to go to heaven and these natives are not. So why would we kill them rather than being killed? So I thought, if somebody enters my house as a thief, he probably is not ready to go to heaven either. So, and then I just ended the blog. I hope you don't take your economic stimulus money and buy a firearm. I've never had one, never owned a firearm.
Enough said, right? You've got your average, and this man, John Piper, if nobody understands who this is, John Piper. This is a man who affects hundreds of millions of Christians, or millions of Christians. I'm not sure how many are in America, but worldwide too. This is the prevailing thought. So I won't lead your thought process in this, just chew on that. You know what he's saying there? Don't have guns in your house when a thief and a murderer comes to kill, steal, and destroy in your home. If he's consistent. Okay, so hypothetical number one, the good and early Samaritan. This is just food for thought. Think about this. You have the good Samaritan. You know, the story goes, Jesus tells the parable that the Samaritan is coming down the road, finds this Jew that's beaten up on the side of the road. Everybody else has passed around him. He takes it time and money and his own resources to help this guy, takes him back to the hotel or whatever, and takes care of him. Hey, gives him money to long-term hospice, right? Long-term, not hospice, but care, medical care. Okay, change it up. Give him a sword. Give this Samaritan a sword and have him arrive 30 minutes early. Does anything change? Does anything change? Think about it. Okay, hypothetical number two, although it's not so hypothetical, church massacre. St. James, 1993, Charles Van Wyck has a snub-nosed .38 revolver. He's standing in the back. Anybody know the book I'm talking about, Shooting Back, the Christian's Right to Self-Defense, I think is what it is. Right and Duty to Self-Defense. Thanks, Pop. Right and Duty to Self-Defense. Thousands of Christians in this church. It's a nighttime event. They're worshiping the Lord peacefully. Attackers come in through multiple entries and spray the crowd with AK-47 fire. There's children in the pews. One man has a snub-nosed .38 revolver. He's sitting in the back. Starts taking, gets a bead behind, all the way in the back. Gets a bead on the terrace in the front. Starts popping off these tiny little 38 round revolver rounds. Nails the dude in the arm. He gets hit, and he's just as he's about to lob a grenade, I might add, runs away. Just runs. Oh, I hit in the arm. Runs out. The other terrorists see him running. They take off. So it ends up only being 15 dead and not 30 or 40 or 50. Hundreds are wounded. Later on, he ends up witnessing to the very men that tried to kill him because they get captured by the local police and things like that. Right or wrong? Should he not have had that gun? Are we not to turn the other cheek? Are we not to love our neighbor? Do good to those who persecute you? Right? Think about it. Okay, hypothetical number three. Honey, somebody's here. Honey, wake up. I hear something, right? The dog's going crazy. So my employer gave me this story actually like 2 days ago. Literally, we're coming back from an install out in the great Delaware wilderness. And he tells me this story about how last year a person came to his front door and was trying to open the door at like 1 a.m. His dog is going crazy. That's his 9-month pregnant wife is saying, hey, somebody's at the door. So my employer gets up, walks into the middle of the house, looks at the front door. Sure enough, every father's nightmare. Doorknobs jiggling. You don't know who is trying to come into your house. It could be a 6'5" dude on PCP. You take a 9mm to that guy, he's going to laugh at you and keep coming. And then he's going to kill you and then kill your people, right? So he sees the doorknob jiggling. He runs back to his room, gets his I don't know what he had, 9mm or 45, racks around. He knows it's loaded because a round ejects. He takes it back in, and he looks. Doorknob's not jangling anymore. Oh no, where is he now? Where is he now? I mean, can you imagine, just put yourself in his shoes for a second. He's got 2 toddlers sleeping, a 9-month-old pregnant wife, and he doesn't know where a possible intruder is, but he knows he's trying to get in the house. Goes downstairs, sees the garage door, it starts to jiggle. He steps back, safety's off, 20 feet away, he's got a bead on this door. Someone's gonna die. Someone could possibly die. ends up being a 22-year-old drunk girl, thinks that she's at her aunt's house, right? Thankfully, no one was killed or anything like that. What do you do? Are you against? Are we so against violence that we're not going to have a gun in our house? We shouldn't take our money and buy a firearm, according to prominent Christian leaders in today's church. Now, I don't think John Piper has been very active lately, but he was, and I think from a lot of us in here, he was very, very prominent in our day, in our youth group days and things like that. What do you do with this? What do you do? What do we do? Okay, and then hypothetical number 4. I'm trying to wrap this up quick. Hypothetical number 4, the 5. Okay, the 5 missionaries who were killed by the Wadani. This tripped me up for a while. In fact, for a couple years, for a few years, this tripped me up. They didn't shoot their attackers. They got speared to death by the Wadani. They were witnessing to them. The context was missionary work, of course, and that's where it's different. But I want to offer this, inject this into the hypothetical. His wife, Marge, unbeknownst to Nate Saint, learns how to fly her own airplane. So she gathers up all the families. The day of the killing, of course, this happened before. She gathers them all up, and they all fly in too. Happy birthday! Here's some cake, Daddy! Yay! Oh, all of a sudden the Wadani. Now the Wadani come out of the woods. Think they're still going to shoot in the air this time? Personally, I doubt it. I really doubt it. There's a different context. You've got John Piper talking about missionaries doing missionary work. The context is, I'm sacrificing myself, you literally, I'm here to witness to you. And then he's going to take that and apply it in a home defense situation. Think about that. These are the verses that we have. Exodus 22, if a thief is found breaking in and you kill him, it's not on you. Doesn't matter. And this is for nighttime. It's different during the day, and there's more to it. But that's what the Bible says. Completely ignored by today's clergy. Then you have a very, very, I think, applicable verse, like a muddy spring or a polluted well is a righteous man who gives way before the wicked. That includes your responsibility, our responsibility to our children, our family. And then, of course, and this one was stolen by Andrew Day too. You've got, if anyone does not provide for their family, they're worse than an infidel. And that includes safety, that includes security, protection. That's our job. That is our job. I'm good? Okay. This was super interesting. Now, I got this tidbit either from John Weaver or Pastor Weaver, excuse me, or Pastor Matt Truella. Highly recommend they have plenty of material on this. If you go to Sermon Audio and you're working, throughout your day, you're able to do this. Great resources for this kind of thing. They really expound the word and open this theology up. But how many times have you heard that Peter should not have had that sword, or Peter shouldn't have drawn that sword, or shouldn't have used that sword, or, bad Peter, right? Bad Peter. Granted, he was off in his thinking. He wasn't supposed to do it then. Who gave him the sword? Who gave him the sword? If you look at this passage and you read back before this whole the cutting off of the great ear, right? He said to them, "But now the one who has a money bag take it, likewise a knapsack, and let the one who has no sword sell it, and buy a sword." You know why Peter has a sword? It's because Jesus told him to get one. So just think about that too, okay? Next time someone's like, "Oh, Peter, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword." Okay. Well, Jesus told him to get it. What now? Okay, then you have taking Jesus out of context. Again, now this is going to go back to turn your cheek so that you can slap the other one, right? Which the 5 missionaries did. They certainly did that. This is personal insults. This is not grab your wife's cheek and turn her cheek too. Where did we jump from that? Where did we go from Jesus talking to you personally? You are not to take insults and return vengeance. I mean, that's really what that's getting at. I'm supposed to do that for my wife and my child? Insanity. Absolute insanity. And then, let's see. Yep, okay, here we go. Love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So Pastor Weaver tells a really, really fascinating and horrifying, in my opinion, story about a gentleman who came up to him and said, but Pastor Weaver, we're supposed to love our enemies. No shooting back. We're supposed to love our enemies. And Pastor Weaver says, okay, and he just says the same thing I'm saying. You have your house, and someone tries to come in, and either you don't know if they're there to kill, steal, destroy, take your money or take your daughter's virginity before murdering her, right? We don't know. Thankfully, the Lord is merciful and makes provision. And this gentleman, he says, I would go into the other room and pray. I would go into the other room and pray. That's what Jesus tells me to do, Pastor. He tells me to pray for those who persecute me. Okay. We need to be more discerning than that. We must be more discerning than that. This is the stuff that I drew on for this talk. Defenders of the West, again, lucky person who got that. That's a great book. Shooting Back, great book. Fox's Book of Martyrs, there's another story I'm not going to go into in there. One of my personal favorite people in history, Joshua Jonavel, I call him the Waldensian Braveheart. Just great story about where nobody else was resisting and horrible things were being done to people. He fights back just with a handful of people, 2 smoothbore muskets and slingshots against a 100-man papist army or group, militia, whatever you want to call them. But these are really great. And then finally, out of the mouth of babes, if you could play that video, sir.
You asked, we talked about the 6th commandment, it's not okay to murder. And we said, was it okay that David killed Goliath?
Yeah.
But the Bible says don't murder.
That's because if a bad guy kills you, that's wrong. But if a good guy kills a bad guy, then that's good. So the good guys need to kill the bad guys, and the bad guys need to be killed.
Mm-hmm. Sums it up for me.
And the bad guys need to be dead.
Out of the mouth of babes. Thanks. Oh, stay up there. Right.
Do we have any follow-on comments, questions, or anything like that? Okay. Oh boy. Should I even give it to him?
Don't even.
Do you think the missionaries should have shot back?
No. Not in that context, no. Their families with them, yes.
Can you tell about your personal connection or the family connection?
Oh, yeah. So great uncle Nate, Nate Saint is my great uncle, my father's uncle, and we're related to them through that. So
he was one of the 5.
He was one of the 5.
And what year was that?
53.
Okay.
56.
56. Okay.
56.
How would you define and guard against becoming a lover of violence?
As far as like falling into I'm trying to think of men who I know. Okay, yeah. So in the military, there are men who are lovers of violence. They love going out and they love destroying and killing the enemy. A desirable trait if you're trying to win a war, but as far as a godly trait, we are not to rejoice at the downfall of our enemies. That's definitely in the scripture. We're not to rejoice at that. We don't rejoice at the death penalty. We rejoice that God's will is done in the earth. We don't rejoice that our enemies die when, in that sense. To guard against that, I would have to point us to our Lord. He's not willing that any should perish. We need to emulate that. We should be willing that the right people perish. The ones who need for it to happen. So, but to guard against loving it, I guess that's a hard one to answer, honestly, for me, because I've never, my dad can attest to this, I'm not a killer instinct kind of a guy. There are men who are, and there are godly men who are, but to fall in love with that would be the same as to fall in love with with anything else that is evil and wicked. We're not to rejoice and be glad of the suffering of others, the death of others. It's a very serious thing. So I hope that helps. But Tyra says it.
Okay. I have a important question, and I don't know, and if we don't have enough time here, we can unpack it more in the Q&A.
Okay.
But you served. Thank you for your service. What are your thoughts about a young man joining the military, today's military, and has that changed in the past 6 months? Your answer on that, or I mean, just what is the nature of, what are you signing up for? I mean, you're taking an oath.
Absolutely.
Right? And it's an oath, thinking as a Christian to do what for the state, and how does that factor in? I mean, would you send your own son or encourage him to join?
I am going to discourage my son from joining the military. Today's form of it, the things that they force you to do there now, that are anti-Christ. I personally, in my time, and 20 years is a long time, but in my time, I witnessed them stripping the churches bare of any sort of religious icon. They used to have crosses, and they used to have pictures of Christ, or not Christ, but Christian symbols. Gone. I'm trying to figure out what other ways I can do to raise my son in such a way that he would be able to fight if he had to. He would be able to pull a trigger and understand military tactics and things like that. And I believe that God will provide a way. I'm not going to say to others that they should not send their children. Even when I went through, it was a dark place. Godless. Very godless. A really important aspect of this is just war theory. Do you want your son to fight in a war on behalf of a nation that unjustly wages war? I cannot encourage my son. I'm going to discourage him hard. If he wants to go and he wants to see, the thing about the military is it tests your manhood. Every young man wants to, and worth their salt, wants that test. They want to know if they are strong enough. That's why a lot of guys go and fail out of buds, out of the Navy SEALs. They try and they fail. Ranger school, try and fail. There's a high failure rate. Maybe not as much anymore. Young men want those tests, and there's got to be a way to do it. But as a Christian, as a father, as a God-fearer, I am deathly scared of having my son join the military whose hand, the hand of God of which is not on it. There's no way. So, to answer your question, I would not encourage my son. I won't say that's a journey for each father in here. But a military that sticks its middle finger up to the Lord, I don't trust with my son. So.
And I think, in hearing stories from veterans, I know that they're fighting for the guy next to them at first, almost, right. because there's just such a brotherhood there, and that's a powerful thing. It's a strong draw. It's something that we lack, and when you're put in those critical situations, life and death situations, your bonds become tight real quick. We also know there's a lot of personal fallout and chaos wrought after people leave, and a lot of suicide and a lot of things like that. I'm sure you know about that.
Yes. Yes.
So when you sign up, you are basically pledging yourself to exert American influence in whoever the leaders are, for whatever they feel is needful for to maintain American hegemony. And if you're not okay and fully on board with signing yourself away to that, then I think that you really need to do some soul searching before you sign that paper, right?
Exactly. A son or a daughter, oh boy, and they're coming for your daughters, by the way. They are coming for your daughters. I don't see any sort of barrier other than, oh, it's just not right, to putting in a conscription for women as well. In an egalitarian society, I just don't see it ending without that happening. Yeah, definitely soul search.
Okay, great. And there's more. We talk more about the idea of women in the military maybe later too.
Yeah.
But we're out of time. I would say just to this topic, if you are a listener of the Cross Politic podcast, just this week they had Bill Rapier on, and that was a very good show. Bill Rapier is a former Navy SEAL, and he currently has a AMTAC blades and shooting training, kind of stuff like that. So and they speak directly to your topic of theology of violence. If you want more, look up Cross Politic and look up that show with Bill Rapier. All right. Very good. Thank you.